Hi, my name is Leslie and I will be sharing with you how to make these adorable fabric stamps. So they are pieces of fabric that are ironed on to a backing fabric with steam-a-seam. You can use them for projects such as this where I have ironed them on and then stitched them on, or you can just use them on the back of a quilt or on jeans. There's all sorts of uses for them. I really just like to collect them because they're just so darling. Now, first of all, you need to have steam-a-seam, and that is this right here. There's the package. And you need 2 sheets of it, 1 sheet for your stamps, and then another sheet for the backing. So, first of all, I gather the pieces of fabric that I am going to use for stamps. Now, these are just little scraps that I saved from some of my projects, or just pieces that I really think would be cute as a stamp. And then I just kind of cut the shape out. You don't want it to be too close though, because when you cut it out with the steam-a-seam, with the ironed on material, then you want to cut it out again to give it a nice edge. So I pull back my steam-a-seam. And that reveals the sticky side, and you can still see there's a second layer. And then I just, to use up the entire sheet, I just place them on as close together as I can. Like so. This is because I don't like to waste the steam-a-seam, but also because when you iron it, then it doesn't have any of this steam-a-seam getting onto your iron as well. So I've got these cute little houses. This little house. I just try to position them as best as I can to use up as much of the space as possible. You're also going to want a pair of scissors that are not your best sewing scissors. So a nice sharp pair, but something that the sticky material and the paper won't ruin. So usually I just use a pair of my sort of retired sewing scissors that I use to cut my paper piecing and that sort of thing out of. Let's just cut this one down a little bit. Okay, so when your sheet is full, then you can either lay a piece of paper down before you press it, and that is because then these little areas that have the sticky part won't end up getting adhered to your iron. I do have this vinyl type of pressing material. It's kind of like a coated fabric, maybe not exactly vinyl, but it feels like vinyl. And I use that to cover the paper and then to press it down. You want to really make sure it's pressed well so that the sticky part is adhered to those fabric pieces. then once you pull it off, you can actually even just kind of rub off those sticky areas and just throw them into garbage. Okay, so now this is your stamps ready. We're just going to set that aside just for a moment to cool. And then this is what I've chosen as the backing fabric. So this is going to be, I guess, the border of the stamp. So I've just chosen this white fabric. You can use another color if you like. And then you need to do the same thing. So you need to turn it over onto the wrong side of the fabric and pull your sticky layer off, one of your paper layers. And I don't recommend using the paper layer that you peeled off when you iron your stamps, because there is a little bit of the texture of the sticky on the paper, and you'll end up getting that on the top of your fabric stamp, so you don't want to do that. So I'm just going to lay this down. Now I have a little bit of bulge in the steam seam, and this is actually kind of normal. This happens quite often. And so usually what I do, it's sticky enough that you can actually even just peel it back without using your iron. So I usually pull back that layer, leaving the sticky on the fabric, and just pull it back just to reach that bubble, and then I re-flatten it again. Okay, and now you want to press it. So now you're ready to cut out your fabric stamps, and you just want to cut enough that you have trimmed the edge of your fabric of the stamp. So for example, let's do this one. I'm just going to cut a few of them out here. So you want to just cut enough so that the raw edge has got a fresh new edge, so it looks really crisp. So there's none of the frayed edges on it. Then once you've cut them off or cut them out, then you just want to peel back the backing, and then you do the same thing. You set them all around your backing fabric that you did with this, except this time you need to leave at least a 1/4 inch between each stamp. So I'll cut another one out here to show you. You could use your rotary cutter to do this too if you're worried about your straight edges, but I would use a blade that you are okay with tossing, or maybe a spare blade that is a little bit more dull, because you're going to be cutting through the paper and the sticky layer. So you just want to set them at least a 1/4 inch apart, and you can readjust. It's not absolutely permanent. You can move it around a little bit. And then just continue to cut them out and layer them over your backing fabric. Okay, so now we're ready to cut out the stamps, and I use a very sharp pair of pinking shears. And you just want to cut fairly close to the stamp, but still leave a nice border. And if you cut carefully, you can actually cut exactly where you need to for the next stamp. And then just trim all the way around. Now you can use the stamps anytime you like because you haven't pulled any of the backing off yet. So I'd usually just store them in a little bag or in my little travel tin, and then I just have them anytime to give as gifts or to use in a project. If you want to make any of the creations that you see here on my YouTube channel, you can find them on my Etsy site, Berry Birdie. And if you want to follow me along as I make new things, share tutorials and how-to videos, you can follow me on Instagram at berry_birdie.